ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are all assembled here to understand about anger management. And if we don't have a plan to manage anger, then all of us are aware how anger will manage all of us. Very important. So in our own lives, most of us have been victims of anger. Maybe it is us, or maybe it is somebody close to us. So many times when parents are fighting, it deeply, deeply hurts the kids. Sometimes anger can be at the workplace and you can't do much about it. All you have to do is just tolerate it. And sometimes when people are not able to do anything to the source of anger, what they do is they just vent it out on some punching bag or something. So sometimes in this world, when you go for anger management, this is also given as some technique. Just release your anger on some punching bag. And sometimes I've seen people having the photograph of a person on the punching bag, and they just imagine that they're punching the same person. But these are not some practical solutions, because finally all the internal physiological effects that happen on the body cannot be neglected. Just by beating up a punching bag, you don't feel relief. So in today's time, all of us have faced anger at one level or another. Maybe sometimes it is just a mild irritation, sometimes it can be fury, sometimes it can be a raging situation. It's like a tornado going inside. Sometimes it's a volcano that is erupting. And the highest degree of anger will actually be when it is a complete disaster. And we are going to discuss about some disasters in today's class. So either the victim of anger can be the stick that burns others. This is sometimes possible. Sometimes the victim of anger can be the first stick that is burnt by the burning stick. So we could be this first stick. We are receiving the impulse of anger from somebody else, and then we start burning. And then as soon as we start burning, we start a chain reaction where others also start burning. So typically, I would say this is our primary scenario, that we receive impulse, we receive anger from somebody, and then it passes on to our family members, to our friends, sometimes to somebody who's working with us. So there are so many cases possible. Somebody who is irritated at home gives off that anger in the office, and somebody who receives a lot of irritation in the office, when he comes home, he passes on that anger to his family members. If not this, then we could be at the receiving end of anger. We could be one of the family members, or we could be one of the office employees, and we could be one who's receiving that anger. Any which ways, we will definitely receive the heat of the anger and will definitely be irritated. So there is a very beautiful shloka in the Mahabharata, and this mentions Shanti khadgah kareyasya durjanah kim karishyati atrune patito vahani swayam evo pashamyati. What harm can a rogue inflict on someone who is armed with the sword of patience? Shanti khadgah. ज्याच्याकडे शांतीचा छोटीशी तलवार आहे, शांतीचं शस्त्र आहे, त्याला एक दुर्जन काय करू शकतो? When a fire falls over a barren land with no grass, अत्रिणे पतितो वहनी, उसमें तृण नहीं है, there is no grass there, it dies by itself, there is no fuel. A wicked man's anger often feeds on the victim's impatience and reciprocation. So it is said the greatest pleasure that you can get is when you irritate somebody and that person actually gets irritated. And the greatest distress is when you try to irritate somebody and that person does not get irritated. Vice versa, if you are at the receiving end of somebody's irritation or somebody's harm, then the greatest pleasure that you can get is when somebody is again and again trying to harm you, somebody is again and again trying to irritate you, but you control all that irritation and you don't get irritated. And the look on the face of the person who's trying to trouble you is a look worth seeing. That person is really very harassed. So this is one way in which the scriptures like Mahabharata and Ramayana are telling us there is no need to get irritated by every small thing that is happening around us. So what basically is anger? If we want to deal with anger, we should know what that is. Just like a doctor, when a patient comes, the patient reveals his symptoms and it describes, but then the doctor pinpoints it to something and then he can deal with the disease. So what is anger? Actually, if we want to deal with anger, we should understand anger is a basic survival mechanism. When we get uncomfortable in a situation, then anger is expressed. When we feel difficult in some situation, then we feel anger. Anger is not something that is coming from outside. Anger is a response that is given by your own mental structure or your physical structure, but it could be triggered off by an impulse from outside. But finally, it is something that comes from within. And that's why there is a great hope for all of us, because something that is created within, there is a chance that we can deal with it. But something is coming from outside, we don't know how to deal with it. So basically, anger is a response to a perceived threat. Sometimes these threats could be external, loss of possessions, loss of position or privileges. We are some famous person and somebody did something to us. Our name is spoiled and there is frustration, there is anger. Or we made some plan and that plan is completely foiled. Sometimes there is humiliation, sometimes there is insult. Sometimes internally, even when we are all alone, we could be facing anger. What is that? There could be a perceived failure. Why am I writing perceived? Because sometimes something may not be a failure. It is only because of perception that we get irritated. Sometimes it could be perceived injustice. Why did this happen to me? Or sometimes, which is generally happening in the modern world, is memories from the past. In the childhood, somebody did something to us. Or sometimes we have frustrations within us. And then when we can't deal with all that, then anger is created internally. So three ways to deal with personal anger. Today we are going to deal with the topic of personal anger. We are not going to deal with social anger and we are not going to deal with anger in a public place like your office or something. We are basically dealing with personal anger. So three ways to deal with personal anger. One is you let it loose. You let the steam come out and you give harsh words or you give harsh reactions on your face, or sometimes you can actually become physical. This is one way. But is this the right way? There is a story about one sadhu and a washerman in our scriptures. So one time what happened is there was a sadhu who was taking rest, and one washerman along with his two donkeys crossed the river. He saw the sadhu taking rest there and he said, Sadhu Maharaj, I forgot to bring something from my home and I need to get it before I cross this river and cross to another village. So can you please take care of these two donkeys? I'll be back in 10 minutes. And when he went there, the sadhu, he wanted to take rest. He had gotten up early. So he took some rest. And as soon as he took rest, this washerman arrived there and he was just so irritated. He was just so angry. He said, Sadhu Maharaj, I trusted you. How could you do this? I left my donkeys to you and now those donkeys are invisible. They have gone somewhere and all my loss has happened and my clothes have gone. What will I do? And the sadhu, he was trying to take rest. He was finding some peace in the jungle near the river. So he was completely shocked to get this kind of treatment from the washerman. He said, Hey, washerman, don't talk to me like this. Do you know whom you're talking to? Am I your servant? And this washerman, because he was a poor washerman, he had lost his two donkeys, he had lost his clothes and everything. So he came there and he started beating this sadhu. And this sadhu was not able to control himself, and the sadhu started beating him because there was no other way to avoid the situation. And the sadhu is beating the washerman is beating the sadhu, and in this whole big mess, he gets beaten up because the washerman's arms are very strong. The sadhu is a weak person. So after 10-15 minutes of getting beaten up, finally both of them are exhausted, and both of them are lying on the floor. And the sadhu is looking at the sky, and the sadhu is looking at God and saying, God, how could you do this? My whole life I served you, my whole life I was trying to represent you. And today, when one washerman bet me up, you didn't even come to rescue me? And God appeared there, and God said, you know what? I came to rescue you. I heard your prayers. But when I came there, I could not identify you, or I could not identify the washerman. All I saw is just a bundle of energy. It was just a huge mass of anger. And I could not distinguish who is the washerman and who is the sadhu. That's why I could not help you. Then the sadhu understood. The Lord was telling him, the washerman's business is to get angry, and the washerman can become angry. But why did the sadhu become angry? Actually, the Lord expected the sadhu to remain silent, to remain quiet, and to deal with that anger. But because could not deal with the anger, he could not control the anger. That's why the Lord could not help him. So many times, when we become very aggressive, and when we give a external response to anger, basically what happens is we get the same disease that is attacking us. See, today's times are COVID times, and all of us know how we try to maintain social distancing. So if somebody who is coughing, somebody who has temperature comes close to you, you won't go close to him. You're an intelligent medico, you're an intelligent doctor. But my dear friends, in times when somebody who is super angry, super irritable, and super hot tempered, when he comes close to you and he speaks something to you, instead of putting on a mask and trying to do social distancing, what we do is we infect the same disease, and we also speak to him in the same language. So that's not something good to do. Actually, this is one of the things that is mentioned, very important to deal with anger. Don't get infected with the same disease. So 3 ways to deal with personal anger. We discussed the first one. Aggression is not a very good technique. We are also getting infected with the same disease, and we could infect others also. What about suppression? What if we suppress our feelings of anger? What if we try to artificially control anger and don't allow it to be suppressed? We know how it produces a lot of internal harmful effects. We have a slide ahead for it. So aggression is not good, suppression is not good. We are going to deal with some simple techniques on how to deal with anger, which is called calming down. And we'll come to these techniques as we go ahead in the seminar. So let's again go through the effects of anger. And the first two, which were not recommended, I have put them down in the slide. External aggression, sometimes we could have a raised voice, we could have aggressive behavior, or we could physically harm somebody. And in all these cases, it could be that we are charged with a criminal behavior. The police can come to us and tell us, although you are a respectable person in society, but how could you beat up somebody? How could you do aggressive behavior to somebody? And that's not good for us. So we can't go for aggression. What about suppression? It could lead to depression inside. Sometimes it has led to hypertension, sometimes to heart disorders. Digestive disorders is something that usually happens when you suppress your feelings. Some people have also noted that it leads to lower back pain. When you're handling a lot of stress, there is a theory that because you're handling a lot of weight and a lot of stress, it also leads to some kind of physiological changes that it gives you lower back pain. And sometimes there could be psychiatric problems. Sometimes there could be behavioral anomalies. What is this? Is that those who have been abused the most in turn become the greatest abusers. Instead of stopping the abuse, they end up abusing others. So these two things are not good for us, and we don't want any of them. We want the third technique. Let's go ahead. What are the causes of anger? Let's see what are the. It is mentioned. Dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangaste shupajayate sanga sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate. Note the last line. Kamat krodho bijayate. काम से क्रोध की उत्पत्ति होती है. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops. Lust is not just bodily lust. Lust is basically when you have an insatiable desire to enjoy something. It could be an object, it could be a drink, it could be some food, or it could be even a person. And from lust, Krishna is mentioning in the Gita, anger arises. So because we want to know the source of anger, kahan se janam leta hai, that's why this shloka is very important for us. So in this slide, we have this kind of a flow chart. From lust, two things can happen. We will try to definitely fulfill the lust. We want to try to enjoy something. We want to enjoy some vacation. We want to enjoy some food, something. So there can be two options, that we actually end up fulfilling our lust. Whatever we wanted to do, we end up doing it. Or sometimes when we want to do something, it sometimes is unaffordable. We cannot do it. It is out of our reach. So when fulfilled, what happens is, in this world, there is a realization that what was promised to me was not delivered. Just like when you go to a restaurant and you order something, then in the menu card, the photograph of the dish looks always much better than the actual dish when it comes on your table. Or sometimes it is said, I don't know why, but a person always looks much better in a driving license card and looks much better than your Aadhaar card. So the Aadhaar card is looking something very strange, and sometimes while traveling, I have to show my Aadhaar card, and people, the ticket checker, will ask me, "Is this you?" And I say, "Yes, yes, it is me." So sometimes there is over promise and under delivery, and when you feel cheated, hey, what was promised to me was something much bigger, and what I got is something very less. It leads to anger. And sometimes when you cannot get the object of your desire, when your lust is unfulfilled, even that leads to anger. So that's why Krishna in 2.62 in the Gita is saying, do whatever you want. But if you follow the path of lust, there will always be anger in your life. We'll go ahead. In one of our holy scriptures called Srimad Bhagavatam, this is Narad Muni speaking to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And when Narad Muni is giving advice to Yudhishthir Maharaj, he's saying, Asankalpa jayet kamam krodham kamam vivarjanat arthan arthekshaya lobham bhayam tattva mamarashanat. By making plans with determination, one should give up lusty desires for sense gratification. I know some people who are foodies who cannot go on without good quality food, but even they sometimes do Ekadashi Upavas. So how can they do Ekadashi Upavas? Because they know what lies in store for them. What is the benefit of doing Ekadashi Upavas? So if you know the benefit of something, then you become determined for it. But if you don't have knowledge, if you don't have the proper understanding, then every small thing becomes difficult and not doable. So here it is mentioned, we can control lusty desires by having plans with determination. Similarly, if you want to give up krodha, if you want to give up anger, then you will have to give up envy for somebody. So how does envy come here? We want to enjoy something and that object belongs to somebody else. We want to enjoy something, but we don't have money, and we see somebody else with money enjoying it. For example, recently one of the doctors, he was at one point of time studying in KEM. There was a fire that was caused in a hotel nearby this hospital which is near VT station. Yeah, it is St. George. So St. George Hospital is a COVID hospital, and he's working there. And for social isolation and all that, they had put up in Fortune Hotel. So this Fortune Hotel at one point of time last week caught fire, and then this doctor from KEM, he saved three other doctors from getting burnt in the fire. So he came in the news, and as a reward, Aditya Thackeray has put him up in the Taj Hotel as a reward for him. So he was telling me during his KEM days, one time his father had come, and then, just to give his father some experience, he had taken him outside Taj Hotel, but he never had the the facilities to enter Taj Hotel. And he was saying that now it is such amazing that he has been given by the government a room in Taj Hotel just as a reward for his saving other doctors from this hotel fire. So sometimes what happens is you see a hotel, you see a restaurant, you see a car, you see a big bungalow, and you cannot afford it, but somebody else can afford it. And then because of lust, because of an enjoyment tendency, you have envy for somebody who can do that, what you cannot do. And that also leads to anger. So here it is mentioned by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj that by giving up envy for somebody who can enjoy what you cannot enjoy, you can conquer anger. So just see how the root of anger is in our improper desires for enjoyment. Enjoyment is not denied, but when we do not understand what is right for us to enjoy and what is not proper for us to enjoy, then it leads to anger. So Kama Vivarjanat here is described as giving up envy for somebody who's enjoying that. So I have a small story for you. This is a story mentioned in the scriptures about one person called Madhu, who was a very serious bhakta. And he came to his guru one time and he said, I want to learn something from you. Please, please, please guide me. But the guru, just like in any medical college today, before admission, they take a NEET exam and they want to check whether proper students with necessary intelligence join the college. Similarly, the guru also has tests for a probable disciple. And he said, do one thing. For the next 3 months, you have this, and this sadhana. So he gave him some tapasya, he gave him some mantra jap, and he told him, you come back to me after 3 months. So Madhu, he went home, he's very serious, and he tried his best to pass the NEET exam that is given by his guru. He did all his tapasya and he chanted some mantra also. And then on the last day, he took his nice bath, he put on some fresh clothes, he shaved himself clean, and now he's coming close to his guru. On the way, on the road, there was a sweeper, and his sweeper was sweeping the street. And as he's sweeping the street, some dirt was thrown on Madhu. And as soon as Madhu saw the dust on his clothes, he became very angry. And he said, do you know what is going to happen today? One time one of my friends was going to an interview, and as on his way to his interview, there was a bird up which dropped some prasad on this person. And this person was so irritated that his shirt for an interview was spoiled. So similarly, Madhu is going to his interview with his guru, and there was some dirt that fell on his dhoti, on his clothes, and he's very angry. So he gave a big blast to this person. He said, do you know what happened? So the sweeper said, I didn't know. I was just doing my job. So Madhu comes here, and just the look on his face is that he's disturbed by some recent event. And the guru can understand that. So the guru says, Madhu, you are not ready for spiritual instructions. You go back and you come back after another 3 months of tapasya. So again, Madhu goes to his home. He does all his tapasya. And again, he takes a bath and he puts on fresh clothes. Again, he's coming. This time, the sweeper, he knows why Madhu is coming. And there is some kind of a revenge feeling in that sweeper's heart. He has received a blast from Madhu last time. So this time, he appears to do it by mistake, but actually in his heart, he's doing it on purpose. So this time, he purposefully throws some dust and some dirt on Madhu's clothes. But this time, Madhu has paid a price for it. So Madhu, he says, you foolish person, don't you see what is happening? But this time his blast is little less. And then after giving him a small blast, he comes to his guru. Again, the guru, he's sensitive person. He can see the look on the face of Madhu. And he says, my dear Madhu, I feel you are still not ready for this spiritual instruction. I think you should do more tapasya for 3 months and then you can again come. This time Madhu understood. What is it that my guru is seeing in me as lacking? Why is my guru not giving me spiritual guidance? This time he did tapasya seriously, and on his way, he made it a point to not even look at the sweeper. Now, this time, the sweeper has received two blasts. You know what he does? This time, he does not throw dust on Madhu. He touches the jhadu, the sweeping instrument, to Madhu's clothes. And Madhu, he is expecting that Madhu is going to shout. Madhu is going to give him a good blast. But Madhu has understood the reason for getting delayed in his admission to the medical college, to the spiritual college of his guru. So Madhu this time totally neglects the situation and says, my dear friend, actually you have shown me the path how to get admission into my guru's ashram. And this time I'm not going to shout at you, this time I'm going to thank you. And Guru can see the change in Madhu's face and Madhu's behavior. This time the Guru gives him spiritual guidance and tells him that you can come here daily and I can help you. So we can learn three lessons from this story. First is we can learn that the anger that was there is like a COVID-19 disease. It spreads by touching. So the first time when Madhu received some dirt from the sweeper, actually there was no anger in the sweeper. The anger was generated only in the heart of Madhu. But from Madhu, the anger went to the sweeper. And second time there was an interaction between the sweeper and Madhu. Actually, the anger was first in the sweeper's heart and then in Madhu's heart. So just see how the disease has changed. So anger is something which is very dangerous. And what made Madhu come out of that infinite loop? First, Madhu is angry, then the sweeper is angry, then the sweeper is angry, then Madhu is angry. This will just go on forever. If we focus on the instructions received and the goal to be achieved by following those instructions, then we can also find determination to control anger. So Madhu, first time and the second time, did not remember the instructions of his guru and he forgot what was waiting for him if he follows the instructions. So many times it is said, obstructions are those things that come in your life when you lose sight of the goal. We are all pursuing a goal. Some of us want success, some of us want name and fame, some of us could want spiritual success in our life, whatever it is. But when we lose sight of the goal, then what we see is the obstructions. Actually, there are no obstructions. If we look at something which we see as obstruction as something that is helping us come closer to the goal, then we won't get angry at the obstructions. So we need to focus on the instructions received by our superiors, and we need to focus on the goal that is waiting for us. If we follow those instructions, then we can also get the determination. And at the end, from a different perspective, we thank those who pushed us for advancement. So right now, all those who are troubling us, all those who are acting as an impulse for us to get angry, all those people later we should thank. अगर आप मेरी जिंदगी में नहीं होते तो मैं मेरे एंगर को कंट्रोल करने की तरकीब कभी नहीं सीखता. Actually, you are somebody who pushed me for controlling my anger. I'll tell you one more story. One time in the forest, there were two friends, the lion and the tiger, and the whole jungle was afraid of them. And one day, due to some small reason, usually anger is caused by small reasons, the tiger and the lion, they had a huge fight. And both of them are super powerful. So when they are fighting, they both realized they both will kill each other. And when they kill each other, that is the end of their lives. Nobody was willing to step back. Now, what happened is at one point of time, as both of them fighting with each other, they fell on the ground and they looked up in the sky. And because these two huge, powerful creatures were fighting with each other and there was blood spilling all around, when they looked up, they saw there were many vultures. खूप सारे गिधाड आकाशात आले होते आणि ते वाट बघत होते. When will these two animals who are full of flesh, who are full of so much flesh, when will they finish each other and we will feed on their corpses? And then the tiger and the lion, when they looked up, they said, we don't want to become food for these vultures. Cannot we settle with each other for this small fault? Cannot we just settle with each other for this little anger that is generated? And they decided to not become food for these vultures. And that is how this fight stopped. So whenever I have talked about this example with people, they have told me, this is right. Actually, many of the fights and many of the difficulties that we have in our lives is caused because of the small fault. And when will we realize that it is a small fault, and when will we realize that we should stop these problems? Only when we understand what is waiting for us if we do not stop that fight. So in many situations I have seen, when two people are fighting with each other, they lose track that if we fight with each other, all we are going to do is एक दुसऱ्यांना नुकसान करणार आहोत आणि जो व्यक्ती खेळ बघतोय सगळा त्याच्यासाठी फायदा करणार आहोत. When we fight with each other, we are going to eliminate each other and we are going to give profit to somebody who's watching that big drama. So unless we realize the end of all these fights, end of all fights is we kill each other, we destroy each other, and we create a favorable situation for somebody else who's watching the show. So all those intelligent people who don't want to do this, they will reconcile. They will sit with their people who are having difficulties and try to strike a deal with them. Let's just compromise a little bit and don't become food for vultures. So, what is anger? It is said it is a punishment we give to ourselves for others' mistakes. Sometimes it is said that when you become angry on somebody, actually the person on whom we become angry, that person continues to have a good time. But it is we who are carrying that burning piece of charcoal, एक जळता हुआ कोळसा आपण आपल्या हातामध्ये घेऊन फिरतोय, एक क्रोधाचा कोळसा ज्याने आपल्याला इतरांना त्रास द्यायचा आहे. पण जळता कोळसा जेव्हा आपण आपल्या हातात ठेवतो, it is only killing ourselves, it is only harming ourselves, and the person for whom we have anger, he continues with his life as it is. So we have to be very careful. Are we harming others when we become angry on somebody, or are we harming ourselves? This is very important. How long will we face anger? This is something from the Gita. In the Gita 5.23, Krishna is saying, शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीर्विमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, is well situated and is happy in this world. Please note the word check. Check म्हणजे काय माहितीये? आपण याला नष्ट नाही करू शकत. We cannot destroy anger, but we can deal with it properly. So when is anger going to be with us? Till when it is going to be with us? Prak sharir vimokshana. Till the time we have this body, anger is going to be us. We can only deal with it. We cannot destroy it. What are the effects of anger? Let's see from the Gita. In 16.21, Krishna is saying there are 3 gates leading to hell. नरकासाठी 3 द्वार आहेत. Lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. So imagine there are 3 big, huge gates, and beyond these gates is Naraka. There is hell. And imagine all of us are struggling hard to enter these gates. मला नरकात जायचंय, मला नरकात जायचंय. I want to enter hell. I want to suffer in hell. We won't do it, right? Is it not? But then that is what Krishna is saying in the Gita, that many people in this world are unnecessarily trying to become very, very eager to enter into hell. And anger is one of the most prominent ones. One prominent example that comes to my mind is that of Shishupal. Shishupal is somebody who has so much anger on Krishna that he cannot even control it. And many times he ends up speaking very harsh words against Krishna. And at one point of time, during Rajasuya Yagya of Yudhishthir Maharaj, when Krishna is being honored, he just cannot control it. Actually, he has received a benediction that I will forgive you when you speak 99 bad words. 99 गुन्हे माफ करणार तुझे. But during Rajasuya Yagya, he cannot control himself. His anger is full blown. His envy is full blown, and he just keeps speaking bad words. He crosses his limit of 99 and is immediately killed by Krishna. So that's what happens to people when they become too angry. What is the contamination of anger? What is the effect of anger? How does it contaminate us? So in one place in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, when you become angry, your whole mind and your whole body gets contaminated. आपल्या पूर्ण शरीरामध्ये दूषण निर्मिती होते, दोष निर्मिती होते, पूर्ण शरीर आपलं दूषित होतं. Can you imagine something that is so dangerous? It is like, when you have TB or something, your whole blood is contaminated. When you have typhoid, your whole blood is contaminated. That kind of a situation comes when you're dealing with anger. And I have a very nice example for you. All of you know there is a person called Jambavan. And this Jambavan is such a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. In Ram Leela, he had so much love for Lord Ramchandra and he served Lord Ramchandra. This Jambavan was still alive during the time of Lord Krishna. So when Lord Krishna came into this world, there is a big katha of Semantak Mani. And there was this money that was there with one king called Satrajit. Satrajit gave it to his brother Prashena. Prashena went to the forest on a horse. There was a lion that attacked the horse. and lion also killed Prashena. So that money was taken by the lion, and this lion was seen by Jambavan, and Jambavan killed that lion and took that Semantak money and gave it to his son. So the whole या सर्व गोष्टींचा दोष, the whole blame of this whole Semantak came on Lord Krishna. People started saying that maybe Lord Krishna wanted the Semantak money, and that's why Semantak money has been stolen by Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna had to do the needful. So Lord Krishna came to the forest looking for this, and he saw that Jambavan's son has this Semantak money. So he went to Jambavan and said, I need this Semantak money because people are saying that I stole it. And Jambavan, because he's so much attached to that Semantak money, he was so angry. Who is this person who wants to take the Semantak money on me? And because of that anger, can you imagine the servant of Lord Ram, when he is seeing the same Lord Ram come again as Lord Krishna, he could not recognize Lord Krishna, and he had a fight with Lord Krishna for 27 days and 27 nights. There was a continuous fight between Jambavan and Krishna. Jambavan is very strong. So at the end of the fight, Jambavan understood there is only one person who is more powerful than me. It is my master, Lord Ramchandra. And if this Krishna is not getting tired by fighting with me for so many days, it only means one thing, that this is the same Lord Ramchandra. And then he surrenders to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna reveals to him that yes, he is indeed Lord Ram. And then Jambavan asks him, how can I fight with you? How did I not recognize you? And that time Lord Krishna says, because you are overcome with anger. So great harm was done when this anger was exhibited. Another story is mentioned how there is this Daksha Prajapati. Daksha Prajapati is the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva's wife is Sati, and Sati's father is Daksha Prajapati. But Daksha Prajapati has some problem with Shiva because he is a very simple person. So one time when there was a function at Daksha Prajapati's home, Lord Shiva also came, and Lord Shiva was meditating on the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, and he had his eyes closed. So when Daksha Prajapati, who's a very proud person, when he walked into that situation, every single person got up from the seat. Only Brahmaji did not get up, and only Lord Shiva did not get up. Brahmaji is the father of Daksha Prajapati, so he did not get up. And Shivji actually is the son-in-law, so Daksha Prajapati thought, why you did not get up? But then Lord Shiva was meditating on Lord Vishnu, that's why he didn't get up. And Daksha Prajapati just became unlimitedly angry because of his pride. He has so much pride in himself. He wants to enjoy name and fame. Everyone should offer the respects to me, and Lord Shiva failed to offer that respect to Lord Daksha Prajapati. So Daksha Prajapati became super angry, and as a result of that, he started waging wars against Shiva. And the result of that was that Shiva's wife is Sati. And Sati, she thought, how can my father speak such bad words against such a great soul, Dev Adi Dev Mahadev? शंकर जी के प्रति ऐसे बुरे शब्द कैसे कर सकते हैं? Sati burns herself, and this Sati is later reborn as Parvati. So Parvati in the previous life is Sati, and she gave up her own life. You know why? Because Daksha Prajapati became so insulting and so angry on his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, who is the husband of Sati. So when somebody became angry, he could not recognize his master, Lord Ramchandra. When somebody became angry, he is making such insults to Lord Shiva, who is such a great personality, and he also lost his own daughter, Sati. So these are the different effects of not being able to control anger. We come to the slide where we have some tips for all of us how to control anger. Remember the three ways: aggression we don't want to do, suppression we don't want to do, but we want to do calming down. So we'll just see what are those tips. The first tip for all of us is, whenever we become angry, try to identify the triggers that cause us to become angry. What is it that triggers me? Is it a person? Then we need to deal with it. Is it an object? Then we need to deal with it. Is it a sense of losing my prestige? कोणी माझा कोणी काही अपमान करतोय म्हणून मला राग येतोय का? So you note down what is the trigger in a particular situation. Triggers for different people are different. Sometimes there are people who are not affected by insults, but they are affected by things. Sometimes people may not be affected by things, but they're affected by situations. Sometimes people are not affected by situations and people are not affected by things, but people are affected by the behavior of people. They expect some good behavior from somebody, and when that person does not behave in a proper way, then that is a trigger. So we need to identify the triggers. Now the second step is, it is a sub point, check whether the trigger is a genuine or not. For instance, I'll give you an example. Let's say a son is expecting always good, very caring behavior from his father. And is this a need, genuine need? Yes, it is a genuine need. But what if the son is not behaving properly? Who is going to correct him? His friends will not correct him. The brother and the sister will not correct him. The responsibility to correct the son is with the father. Many times the mother offers a lot of love to the father, but the father has to correct the son. So sometimes the father may have to behave harshly with the son who is making many mistakes in life. And that's when actually it is a correct behavior expected from the father. But then what happens is the son sometimes can behave or can have a lot of anger for the father. So the son, if he's becoming angry, needs to check whether this trigger is a genuine trigger. So in this example, the trigger is not a genuine trigger. He should control himself and he should understand, if my father does not correct me, then when I grow up, who else will correct me? या समाजातले लोक नावं ठेवण्यासाठी खूप तयार असतात आणि खूप आतुर असतात. मदत करण्यासाठी कोणी तयार नसतं, किंवा आपल्याला योग्य काय अयोग्य काय हे सांगण्यासाठी कोणी तयार नसतं. सो when the father is becoming angry on us, and then when we feel, oh, this is a trigger for me, when my father becomes angry on me or when my father corrects me, that is not a genuine trigger. You should honestly understand, this is medicine for me. समटाइम्स इन आयुर्वेद दे गिव्ह ए बिटर काढा. काढा कधी कधी कडू असतो, तो घ्यायला लागतो, त्यांनी आपण बरे होतो. तर कसंच आपल्यासाठी जे चिंताग्रस्त आहेत, आपल्यासाठी जे नेहमी हितचिंतक आहेत, त्यांचा ओरडा आनंदाने कृतज्ञतेने स्वीकारणे हे एका बुद्धिमान व्यक्तीचं लक्षण आहे. वी शुड बी ग्रेटफुल फॉर सच पीपल इन अवर लाईव्ह. Now there can be two things: either the trigger is a genuine trigger or the trigger is not a proper trigger. For instance, some friend who does not even care for you is again and again insulting you, and then you find out this trigger is not a proper trigger. So if the trigger is not a genuine trigger, then we have to understand, I need I need to understand how this trigger needs to be handled. So when the trigger is a genuine trigger, I need to be grateful for it. I need to be thankful for it. For that, you don't need much counseling. When the trigger is not genuine, somebody is trying to purposefully hurt you, when somebody is purposefully trying to harm you, then first thing is, you need to have genuine counseling, and you need to understand, okay, the situation has to be dealt with. If you don't undergo counseling, if you don't talk about your feelings with somebody superior, what will usually happen is the first two things will happen. Either there will be physical aggression, which is not good for us, or there will be an internal suppression of feelings, which is also not good for us. So you need to talk about, this person is insulting me, this person is troubling me, and how to deal with it. You please tell me. It's not good if we take aggression or suppression. The third thing is, if it is something that needs to be, if it is something that needs to be dealt with, then we should learn to express our feelings, that we are feeling hurt, we are feeling destroyed, we are feeling troubled, in a very assertive way. What is assertive way? Assertive means you catch hold of the person who's troubling you, or at least there is a perception of being troubled by that person, and then you explain to him, every time you speak like this to me, every time you behave like this to me, it troubles me, it hurts me. Not confrontationally. Not confrontationally means you catch his collar or you raise your voice and then you say, do you know what happens to me when you speak like this? So that's like creating a confrontation. That's like a recipe for disaster. If you raise your voice, he will raise your voice, she will raise your voice, and immediately in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, there is a big disaster that will happen. But in a very cool voice, in a very calm voice, you need to express your feelings. When you speak like this, when you deal with me like this, it really hurts me. And that is called assertive expression of your feelings. Then, one thing which is very important for us, is that always use I language. What is I language? You mention what effect the other person's behavior or the situation has on you. You don't focus on what the other person is doing. So usually what happens is, let's say I am getting insulted by somebody's looks or by somebody's actions or by somebody's behavior. Then I say, when when you behave insultingly with me, I feel angry. So he will say, I don't behave insultingly with you. I'm just behaving naturally with you. And this is how I behave with everyone else. One time I was speaking with somebody and I said, you know what? The way you walk, it shows that you want to purposefully insult me. And he says, मी लहानपणापासून असाच आहे. मी सगळ्यांसोबत असंच बोलतो आणि नेहमीच मी असं चालत असतो. तुला जर वाईट वाटत असेल तर तो तुझा प्रॉब्लेम. So he basically, did not even accept it. But if you say, see, I know you are a genuine person. I know you're not purposefully trying to trouble me. But I just want to tell you that when you talk like that, when you snore like that, when you behave like that, when you laugh like that, I feel it is my weakness. प्रॉब्लेम माझ्यात आहे. मला असं वाटतं की तू मुद्दामून मला खूण करतोयस की काय. You are purposely trying to trouble me. So then that person, if he's a genuine person, he will understand. Oh, the problem is that by my behavior, he's getting troubled. And if he's a genuine person, if it's happening unknowingly, then there is a chance that he will change. But at least when we speak ourselves, when we express ourselves, there is a chance that there will be some change. And the last thing is actually seek help. See, just by expressing your feelings to somebody, it is not necessary that he will change. Just by accepting counseling, it is not necessary that things will change, but you will calm down. तुमच्या मनामध्ये, तुमच्या शरीरामध्ये योग्य परिवर्तन होईल, जेणेकरून येणाऱ्या परिस्थितीमध्ये पुढे पण असे अनेक प्रसंग येतील. But at least at that time, your thermometer will won't go up, and you can actually deal with the situation. The last point is very important, that all of us should do some pranayam, or maybe we should do some meditation. Sometimes we can do some mantra meditation, that we can focus on a mantra. Personally, in my life, whenever I become angry, I chant this mantra: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And many times I've seen it helps me calm down, because I can remember the Supreme Lord, Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna is always available to help those who seek help from him. So that's like accepting medicine. So when we identify the triggers, we need to identify whether it's a genuine trigger or a not a genuine trigger. If it is not genuine, then counseling is necessary. If the trigger is genuine, then we need to express it properly, not confrontationally. Use I language, don't use you language, and seek help for meditation. So these are some tips that will help us, in addition to all the different stories of Madhu and the two tigers and the lions that we saw. So we'll go ahead. Some exceptional positive examples where anger was used. Hanumanji used anger in the Ramayana, and Arjun used his anger in service to Lord Krishna in the Mahabharata war. Hanumanji, when he goes to Lanka, he's very angry at Ravan because he caused a lot of trouble to his mother Sita, and that's why he burns Lanka with anger. But these are very two exceptional examples where anger could be used by these great souls. Generally, we don't use anger. Generally, anger uses us. So we need to focus on this slide of calming down. We need to have a proper understanding of how to calm down. Aggression is not proper and suppression is not proper. So in this way, we come to the end of the seminar. I'm really grateful to all of you for offering me a chance to offer some tips to deal with anger. And at the last, we'll have some questions. So if any one of you has any questions, then you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions. Yes, you can unmute yourself and ask. There is Galaxy J6, but I don't know your name.
If anyone teases us how to control our anger.
Yeah, so if anyone is teasing us, it could be one of our friends or it could be one of our family members. Sometimes, our uncle, auntie, cousin, sometimes they फक्त मस्करी करत असतात. Sometimes they're just having fun with us. So if we become angry at those people who are having fun with us, we will lose those relationships. If it is my aunt, if it is my uncle, kaka, maushi, हे जेव्हा आपल्याशी मस्करी करतात, we should not take it very seriously. But if it is some person in our school, if it is some person in our college who's making fun of us, then I feel we should report it to our seniors. We should report it to our teacher in school that this person is unnecessarily making fun of me. And when the teacher tells that boy, when the teacher tells that person will listen to the teacher, but that person will never listen to you. By the way, what is your name? You didn't tell me your name.
Tanishka.
Oh, Tanishka, yes. So if you try to tell your friends may not agree with you, but when the teacher tells your friends, they will definitely agree. Okay, any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanishka, for asking such a nice